Well, good evening and welcome here to The Hive. I'm Jason Groth, joined by Lance Rock as we get ready for tonight's triangular action of wrestling here from The Hive. Should be a fun one tonight. Perham will open things up against Minnewaska area, which will then be followed by a battle we'll have Minnewaska area taking on Brainerd, and then the nightcap will be Perham and Brainerd, which should be a fun night here tonight, Lance.
Oh, this is everything you could ask for, Jason. It's just been so fun, and I know we've stated it almost every time, but when things like this come up, I think it's worth repeating. So it's been so fun to see some schools that we don't have the opportunity to see, and tonight, as we'll certainly get into it a little bit deeper here in a few minutes, but we're looking at this Minnewaska area Lakers team, and wow, they come loaded for bear. You look down their lineup and you look at who they've wrestled and their scores, and what an opportunity. I know you can't be here tonight for most of us, but I'm glad we can come into maybe your living rooms and you get a chance to see one of the top teams in the state of Minnesota in 1A.
It definitely should be a fun one tonight. Like you said, Minnewaska area coming in ranked 4th overall. They'll open things off tonight against the Yellow Jackets, which should be a fun one. We're going to take a quick timeout, come back, and we'll get you set up for tonight's contest as you're watching Perham High School Wrestling as well as Brainerd and Minnewaska area here on Magnitude Sports Network. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back.
Davies working left to right. They set up and damn with the two-hand slam off the alley-oop. Give the assist to Cole Haynes.
Did you miss any part of this live game broadcast? Not to worry. Magnitude's DVR feature puts instant replay instantly into your hands. Revisit a big player score, watch a delayed version of this game, and then click live at any time to return to the live broadcast. Now you don't have to miss the game-winning buzzer beater, your son's 79-yard touchdown run, or your daughter's set-sealing ace serve. Thanks for watching Magnitude Sports.
Outside Satter. Step back three, number 12. He got it! 7 in the first half and 5 so far here in the second half.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rusted, Chief Lending Officer with United Community Bank. I'm just excited we've been partnering with businesses for over 100 years. Come and see why so many of your friends and neighbors have put their trust in United Community Bank. Stop in and see us in Perham, Frazee, and Dent, or you can visit us online at ucbankmn.com. We're excited for you to be part of our community, United Community Bank.
You can capture the moments and memories of this game and all of our past sports.
Well, welcome back here live to The Hive. I'm Jason Groth, again joined by Lance Rock as we get ready for some high school wrestling action for tonight. It should be a fun one, a triangular action, which will kick things off here on our Magnitude pre-match report, which will feature the Minnewaska area Lakers, ranked number 4th in Class A through the guillotine, and they'll be taking on the Perham Yellow Jackets, who are ranked lean and mean right now in Class AA, when they come in with a record of 3-7, while the Minnewaska area Lakers come in with a record of 8-3. And Lance, they have been beating some good teams this year.
Yeah, you look up and down their schedule, and we talked about Perham having a great schedule, and they certainly do. And again, hats off to AD Aaron Anderson and Coach Vetch for their time and effort to bring this type of quality here. But when I started paging through Minnewaska's, and they've wrestled the number 1, 2, and 3 ranked teams in A, and they're number 4 right now. So pretty outstanding to see that they did all of those. And then they've wrestled Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus, which is someone we'll see at the end of the year and is a common Section 8 AA opponent, and they beat them 31-30. So you hate to kind of do the comparison thing this early in the season, even though it seems like it's later, but it kind of might give you a guide to say, hey, if we come out with a victory, Perham does, against Minnewaska, you're looking pretty good as a section, and you can kind of start to do some of those comparisons as you go along.
And for the Yellow Jackets, they're coming off what was a very nice victory over Frazee that went down to the wire. And it was a win that, you don't want to say a team really needs a win at a certain time, but it was one that they needed after dropping 5 before that. 5 in a row against some solid good teams. They had a chance in that Grand Rapids match, lost in the last match, and then they were able to reverse it with a nice victory against Frazee. And now they're hoping to build some momentum after that victory over Frazee. And now you look at it, and you see on the mat right now in the background, right now, Minnewaska area getting warmed up, getting ready to go. So, and Thunderhawks, there we go. We're going back to the old roots. So there we go. The Yellow Jackets getting ready in the wrestling room. It should be a fun duel here tonight between these two teams.
Yeah, excellent setup. Again, we're set up just the way we were before. You can't see it at home, but Jason usually mentions at some point during the broadcast, hey, those extra whistles are coming from the JV, and I'm looking at the Lakers, and it looks like they brought a good host of JV kids, and you kind of get that feel that the program's on an uptick or has had some success by the amount of kids who are out. And looking over there, Jason, they probably have, close to a dozen kids ready to wrestle JV tonight as well, and equally that many amount or more on the varsity side.
And a quick chance, we'll set things up for you tonight. We'll have 3 matches. The goal is to have them on 3 streams. So after this one, we'll set up a new stream for Brainerd and Minnewaska area, and then the final one, we'll have a new stream as well set up for that one, which will be Perham and Brainerd in the final match of the night. And it's a good way to set things up. Perham's been home quite a bit here lately. They have a big duel. You don't want to look too far ahead, but they have a big one coming up on Tuesday, which we'll have for you here live as well on Magnitude Sports when they host Detroit Lakes and Moorhead here for a fun triangular.
Right. That Highway 10 rivalry is certainly alive and well, and I think you look at the top of Section 8-2A right now, and DL's certainly there, Pequot Lakes is certainly there, Thief River's certainly there, and then the Yellow Jackets getting a win early against Thief River obviously puts them back in the mix as well. So, a deep Section 8-2A, and I'm sure I'm missing somebody along the way as we go and we get to see more of the teams come by. But, you're just excited at the midway point of the season or close to the midway point of the season to get a gauge at where you're at with DL now that you've seen Thief already too.
And then you mentioned the fact there, Thief River Falls also defeated DL last week, so you kind of have a mix there up at the top, and we talked about it a little bit, a team that Minnewaska faced, Pequot Lakes, Pine River Back, is just hanging around in the balance, and they're always a team that come reckon with come section time.
Exactly, and you don't have to look too far back. Well, probably back further than the Perham run, but Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus was there, and they were the ones being knocked off the Section 8 AA crown and title spot. And so you would guess that they're itching to get back there as well. So great wrestling to come up here in the future, in the near future, and certainly probably about 10 minutes from now we're going to see some really good wrestling, and it's nice to see some cross from A to AA too, and see some different styles as we go along.
We'll take another quick break, come back with some wrestlers to look out for as we get ready for Perham and Minnewaska area here on the Magnitude Sports Network.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rusted, Chief Lending Officer with United Community Bank. I'm just excited we've been partnering with businesses for over 100 years. Come and see why so many of your friends and neighbors have put their trust in United Community Bank. Stop in and see us in Perham, Frazee, and Dent, or you can visit us online at ucbankmn.com. We're excited for you to be part of our community, United Community Bank.
United Community Bank.
Magnitude Sports has delivered over 1,000 broadcasts capturing all fourth quarter comebacks, walk-off home runs, buzzer beaters, 62-point volleyball sets, and double overtime victories. The excitement is on Magnitude Sports. Over 150 teams from 5 states and 2 countries have been featured on Magnitude Sports at both the varsity and sub-varsity levels. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and select your alert preference so you never have to miss that big moment from your favorite area sports team. Find us on Facebook and Twitter too. This is the Magnitude Sports Media Network.
And welcome back once again to the Hive. I'm Jason Groth, joined by Lance Rock, and we got a fun one lined up for you. The Perham Yellow Jackets taking on the Minnewaska area Lakers here on the mats at the Hive, and what should be a fun night tonight, a fun triangular. I think I've used the word fun a lot, but that's what it is going to be tonight. Exciting action as Perham will take on Minnewaska area. They'll also close the night against Brainerd, and in between that, Brainerd will take on this Minnewaska area team, which should be an exciting duel all the way through all 3 matches tonight.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about Brainerd more. We're not shunning them out here, but there's just so much to talk about when it comes to Minnewaska and Perham. So just quick heads up, I think it's going to start out right off the bat, depending. I think coin flip's going to make a difference a little bit tonight. Again, who sets out who, as I think Minnewaska's probably weighed in a couple at 106, and I know that they're bringing back a real good 106-pounder. And for the Yellow Jackets, they can't have a better pace setter than what they've had in Chandler Mickelson, who is 10-0 on the season, and seems like every time we think, ooh, here comes a tough competitor for him, he just steps up to the task.
He definitely does. Like you said, 10-0 has really set the tone a little bit for the Yellow Jackets there. Then you look further down in that lineup, they go with Caden Felt at 126, Gareth Covington at 132. Jack Fudge is the one that we've talked about all season long, just recently joined the 175 win club. So he will be probably at 152, undefeated, ranked number 2 in the state. Then you got Brian Ramos at 182, which we're potentially eyeing up what could be a very fun match, depending on, as you said, the coin flip and how things work out there.
Exactly. Brian coming in 9-0, number 10 in the state, according to the Guillotine. Was a state section champ and state entrant last year. Would be facing a really tough hombre in Tyson Meyer, who is a 2-time defending state champ, was 46-1 last year, and is currently ranked number 1, which obviously if you're a 2-time state champ, until someone knocks you off the throne, you are going to be ranked number 1, and by all means, that could be quite a show, Jason.
And you know what? I'm going to give a shout out to the Guillotine and their work on the rankings. There's a lot of rankings in different sports that you question and you look at and you go, are you serious? Then you look at these Guillotine ones and they're spot on. They do their work, they do their research, they're outstanding, and they're very rarely wrong.
Exactly. And I think one of the things that when you look at those rankings, you go down and we've talked about the hammer at the end, making sure that if it's close, we're going to have our work cut out for us tonight there, and I think we can step up to the task. But Minnewaska brings the number 2 rated wrestler in the state of Minnesota at 285. He was 30-4 last year. He's ranked number 2. Jacob Swala. Jacob Swala was their section champ last year, and he ended up losing in the first round of the state 3-1 to the eventual state runner-up at 285. So definitely no slouch at the end of the lineup for the Lakers.
Well, you talk about teams with their closer. You could say they got their Mariano Rivera there at the end who's going to shut the door, and if they need that big victory, he's the only guy that's going to come through.
Exactly, and one of the things that's interesting to look at, we've talked a lot about the Yellow Jackets in their lineup and a lot of ninth graders in there. There's a seventh grader in there. The leadership has been great out of the seniors from Jack Fudge and Gareth Covington and others. You look at the Laker lineup, and it's really balanced, Jason, throughout. There's juniors and sophomores and a few ninth graders and eighth graders and seniors. And so looking at it and doing a little research, they're a very veteran club that's going to step out on the mat.
Well, we're just a few minutes away from our first match, so we'll take a quick timeout or final timeout, hopefully, and come back and have some wrestling action for you here on the Magnitude Sports Network.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rusted, Chief Lending Officer with United Community Bank. I'm just excited we've been partnering with businesses for over 100 years. Come and see why so many of your friends and neighbors have put their trust in United Community Bank. Stop in and see us in Perham, Frazee, and Dent, or you can visit us online at ucbankmn.com. We're excited for you to be part of our community, United Community Bank.
United Community Bank.
Magnitude Sports has delivered over 1,000 broadcasts capturing all fourth quarter comebacks, walk-off home runs, buzzer beaters, 62-point volleyball sets, and double overtime victories. The excitement is on Magnitude Sports. Over 150 teams from 5 states and 2 countries have been featured on Magnitude Sports at both the varsity and sub-varsity levels. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and select your alert preference so you never have to miss that big moment from your favorite area sports team. Find us on Facebook.
Well, we're back here at the Hive. We're still maybe one more commercial break away from the start of this match tonight between Perham and Minnewaska area. The coaches and captains talking things over as they get ready for this event. And, you know, it's a COVID-19 era, so we also have to talk about the crowd not going to be as full as we're used to, allowing 150 fans total into the gym, which doesn't mean you may not be able to be here, but you're here to watch it with us tonight, and we'll bring you all the action here from the Hive.
Yeah, we're sure glad you're able to join in and watch and support your wrestlers, whether it's the Lakers from Minnewaska or the Jackets from Perham. We're so glad that you are able to be here with us tonight and support them. So we are probably not too far away. Again, this could be a barn burner, and it's going to be fun to see how the Jackets come out and wrestle. Just like Jason said, coming off of the high of beating the rival of Frazee, and coming back here tonight and seeing if they can build off of the momentum that they had in that final match where the kids seemed pretty jacked up to walk away with that victory.
Well, and you talk about emotions. In that Frazee match, the Yellow Jackets went through like a roller coaster of them. At times it seemed like the Hornets were going to come away and sneak out that victory. And then at the end, the Yellow Jackets get the big victory at the end, get the victory, seal the win, and kind of turn things around for them at home.
Exactly. And you just don't know what's going to spark on a team. It just might be that one win. So we're getting really close here, Jason, and I know I'm excited, and we're going to do our best to bring it as close to being here as we can do for you tonight.
Yeah, one thing I think, Lance, we've got a few seconds we can talk, but I think the keys, and we've touched on it in every broadcast, not allowing the bonus points. You got to keep those to a minimum, and that's always been kind of the key, and I think will be a big key for the Yellow Jackets tonight if they're going to have success.
Right, and sometimes we talked about earlier that loss sometimes isn't a loss if you're expected to give up 6 and you give up 3. So even some of those where it might not be a win and it might not look like it on the scoreboard, it might end up being that final points that you need at the very end. So all of these matches, it's so amazing. We always look to 285, but it really starts at 106, and every one counts for the same amount of points. It's the same. You have the same chance at every weight level.
So now we'll take a quick timeout, and this will be our final break as we get ready for the action tonight between Perham and Minnewaska area. We thank you for tuning in here on the Magnitude Sports Network.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rusted, Chief Lending Officer with United Community Bank. I'm just excited we've been partnering with businesses for over 100 years. Come and see why so many of your friends and neighbors have put their trust in United Community Bank. Stop in and see us in Perham, Frazee, and Dent, or you can visit us online at ucbankmn.com. We're excited for you to be part of our community, United Community Bank.
United Community Bank.
Magnitude Sports has delivered over 1,000 broadcasts capturing all fourth quarter comebacks, walk-off home runs, buzzer beaters, 62-point volleyball sets, and double overtime victories. The excitement is on Magnitude Sports. Over 150 teams from 5 states and 2 countries have been featured on Magnitude Sports at both the varsity and sub-varsity levels. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and select your alert preference so you never have to miss that big moment from your favorite area sports team. Find us on Facebook and Twitter too. This is the Magnitude Sports Media Network.
Well, welcome back here to the Hive. I'm Jason Groth, joined by Lance Rock as we're getting ready to go. We're just moments away from the start of tonight's action between Perham and Minnewaska. The home team on the scoreboard, Perham, they're the Yellow Jackets on the left. On the right will be the Lakers on our scoreboard as you're watching at home.
Man, you can tell, Jason, I kind of got the jitters. You can tell we're getting further along in the season, and we're getting ready to see some great wrestling because I had to get out of my chair to stand and watch for a little bit while. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
106 wrestling from Minnewaska, sophomore Nick Anthony.
So we're going to see sophomore Nick Ankeny. He was 5th in sections last year with 21-21 record. He was rated in state for a little while, suffered a couple losses, but really a good wrestler as I got to see some of his matches. And he'll be wrestling Chandler Mickelson, a 9th grader who we had said early on in our pregame is 10-0 to start the season and has really been that beginning leg to the matches for the Yellow Jackets and given us a lot of times bonus points as we started out.
Well, we definitely see. I think this will be a very tough and strong test for Mickelson here, and a good spot to see where he's at this point of the season. And we mentioned the 10-0 mark, but you never know when you see a different and a wrestler that's had a lot of experience.
One thing that I'm seeing right away is Mickelson's back to his front headlock position, where he's been really, really confident in and strong. So minute 10 to go in the first period, and this should be a good one to get us started off today and see how the Yellow Jackets come in and how the Lakers come in. And this might be one of those matches that kind of steamrolls into the next couple. So we'll see which one does what. And right there, Ankeny shows us a little fireman's carry, but off the mat they go. 50 seconds on our clock, and one good shot by Ankeny and a couple good tie-ups by Mickelson. And Mickelson's being real heavy with the hands. He's back in that front position that he likes so much. He's really heavy on the shoulders, and there he goes. So that first period takedown for Mickelson comes at 30 seconds on the clock, and let's see if he gets that ride out as we go. Mickelson's getting some coaching from the sideline as we're here. 15 seconds on the clock. He's pulling, trying to get a little tilt in there. Ankeny's not letting it happen. Ankeny's trying to get out, but 5 seconds remain, and it looks like it'll be 2-0 Mickelson into the second period, which is a great start for the Yellow Jackets.
Definitely a good start for Mickelson there, like you said. And you mentioned one thing late in that period. I was kind of always interested in wanting to hear, and I wanted to talk to head coach Dave Vetch, but I didn't get a chance to ask him this. What it's like to coach now with the mask and how much they can actually hear with the mask when they're talking to each other and trying to talk to your wrestler in action.
Yeah, I think it's one of those dilemmas you see watching Gophers basketball, and the mask is going up and down by the coaching staff and trying to get their point across. And yeah, it's certainly added one more element to most sports, I think, that coaches probably weren't prepared for.
And there are definitely a lot of dilemmas to talk about involving that Gopher basketball program, but we'll leave that for a different day.
We need more time than what we have, Jason. Mickelson took down, and Ankeny's got a pretty good ride going here. He's trying to roll a wrist underneath, and this is where the length of Ankeny, I mean, I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but we have definitely a different size variance in these two wrestlers. Mickelson's a little more on the compact side, and Ankeny's definitely got the length to him. So I would guess that Ankeny's trying to do something that will turn Mickelson over and get going. So we have 1 minute remaining. So 1 minute remaining here, and Mickelson's probably going to have to get his head off the mat here pretty soon, I would guess, or we're going to start to see. And there he goes. So maybe I just have to say things a little sooner if you're a Yellow Jacket fan. This would be a big point for Mickelson, and it hasn't been given yet. There's 35 seconds on the clock, and they're off the mat. So restart for Mickelson. See what Ankeny does. He seems like he's trying to break Mickelson down and then roll a wrist under and work on. I thought maybe with his length he would be a cradler. Good blast off the whistle by Mickelson, but Ankeny's pretty tough, strong character here, Jason, as he returns him to the mat and works on his breakdown again. 20 seconds remains. Again, trying to tie up that arm underneath, and I don't know if he's working on a tilt here, maybe, but then that goes away. 10 seconds and total ride out. So that, boy, wow, how important is that early takedown when it looks like it's going to be a nice flurry there by Mickelson, but it's going to be 2-0 going into the third. So Ankeny's choice, and he takes down. So we'll see how Mickelson's ride. Ankeny had a great ride, rode out the whole period. Again, he comes up to his base. That length, nice job driving him back to the mat by Mickelson. Mickelson seems like he's being physical. Ankeny's just kind of matching him step for step here, though, and looking for, I think he's looking to get 2 instead of 1 right here and tie it up, but we'll see what happens. 1:30 to go on the clock. Both coaches here really giving some good instruction. It's kind of fun to hear. The one thing we can hear a little better when there's not as many fans, but here comes Ankeny, and he gets that reversal. Now, with 1:10 remaining, it's 2-2, and here comes Mickelson up to his base, and he reverses. So just as fast as we could say it was tied, it's now 4-2. and there is 55 seconds remaining. So Ankeny's not in a real good position here as Mickelson's got his legs crossed and should probably try pulling him back on the mat, but is turning, and Ankeny kind of flips over. We have 35 seconds remaining, and the coaching staff, both of them are up. This is a critical point here, and Mickelson is up 4-2, so we got to remember, now he's getting a little bit high. He's got a boot in, but he's getting high, and let's see, with 20 seconds remaining, the volume's already picking up in here, Jason. Mickelson stretching him out. 10 seconds remaining, folks, and they're moving. Both wrestlers are really working hard. 3, 2, 1. And we had a whistle there. A whistle stopped it at 2 seconds. So 2 seconds, be a really quick reversal to have to happen here. But so Mickelson looks like he's in good shape. He can let him go, and he has no stalling calls. So he's going to go optional, which is a good choice, and probably just stay away from him. Ooh, and he probably should have got away a little bit further than that, but that's one of those learnings. So it's going to go 4-3 in favor of Mickelson, which that's a great match for Mickelson. And kind of what you want to see out of this, Jason, learning as you go. And that's the one that he'll remember. Hey, I better push that guy away just a little bit further, so he doesn't get a chance to get my ankles at the very end. Now at 113, we'll have Johnny Ramos, 7th grader. 7th grader start again to Johnny Ramos. He's 3-8 on the season, and coming out for the Lakers is Jace Kovarik, who is a 9th grader, and Ramos in. One of the things that these young guys have felt comfortable with is getting heavy on the head, and I think it's probably from wrestling in the room together, but I'm starting to see Johnny pick up some of those same things that we watched Chandler do on the mat. So a quick takedown for Ramos. It's 1:30 left on the clock, and we'll see the rideability here, and looks like Kovarik is out, and so 2-1 with 1:15 remaining in the first period. So 2-1, good takedown by Ramos. It's always nice to get that early takedown. I would imagine it's like all other sports, Jason. It's that confidence that comes with an early success.
Definitely, and he's had some good matches here of late as he sits with a 3-8 record, but it's kind of a deceiving. He's faced some tough opponents this year.
So right there, as Jason and I banter back and forth a little bit, we have a whole flurry of action. We have a takedown by Ramos, a reversal by Kovarik, and then back points by Kovarik. And now all of a sudden, it's 5-4 in favor of Kovarik. So hang on, guys. This is one that you're not going to want to go to the refrigerator, I don't think, quite yet. And we'll see what happens. Johnny does a little spin out there, but Kovarik staying really tight, stretching him out a little bit. Johnny's doing a great job of keeping his hands in front of him, but I noticed one thing from both wrestlers from Minnewaska. They're trying to roll that wrist under and do some work on that arm underneath the opponent's body. So 15 seconds remaining. 5-4 is our score, and another good one. And here's a little tilt action, but Johnny's doing a great job of keeping his shoulders parallel and is going to slip out of there with 3, 2, 1, and you'll hear the buzzer here. And so Ramos is down 4-5 to Kovarik. It's Ramos's, I believe it was Ramos's choice, but I'm thinking it might have been Kovarik's choice. And he chooses down, and we have a caution right off the bat here. So we don't want too many cautions, and here we go. So Kovarik with a quick stand-up. Johnny staying kind of heavy, but Kovarik gets to his tripod. Might look like Kovarik's just a little bit stronger right now, Jason, than young Mr. Ramos. back to his tripod position. Ramos is staying real heavy on the shoulders. And just as I say that, Ramos is breaking him back down with 1:30 to go in this one. And nice job by Johnny Ramos. Certainly doesn't want to give up any more points. He just gave up his head, which this could be dangerous position. And this is reversal with 2. We got back points happening, and Johnny's in a bad spot here. A lot of pressure on him right here. That's a lot of pressure when you got that opponent's shoulders, and he's just snugging it in. And this is not looking good. We have 1 minute remaining. It's a long time to stay out of this, and he's just kind of kicking Johnny's legs out, and there's the fall. So great start by Johnny. We're seeing that growth, just one of those scramble situations, and as he gets some more experience, I think we're going to see him come out of a better end of those situations.
I agree. You can tell like that experience, I think, definitely played a role there. And Minnewaska now just takes that lead here on Perham.
And again, Jason, you talked about bonus points, and there we go. And so we head to 120, ladies and gentlemen, and we got Levi Krusel coming out for the Yellow Jackets. Levi's a freshman, 4-6 on the season, and he is wrestling an 8th grader, Chase Smith, from the Lakers. So Chase Smith comes in. I didn't get the current records for the Lakers. We did some trying, but it was unsuccessful. So I apologize for not kind of being able to give you that update. But as we go, we know that Chase Smith is an 8th grader, and against Levi Krusel, a 9th grader. We have about 1:20 on the clock. I'll try to remember to keep you updated on that as we go through the night.
And Lance, will throw you a surprise. I'm actually trying to actually work the clock tonight. We'll see.
Oh, nice.
So, but just be aware, listeners at home, that it might not be accurate all the time.
Perfect. Then I won't say it. If I see it on there, I won't say it so much. Here's a go behind and off the mat. So nice job by Levi knowing where he was. So that mat awareness for some of these young wrestlers is really starting to show. And just on cue, I guess, for Chase Smith, there's a takedown. So 2-0 as we go forward. So let's see what our ride looks like. If he tries like the other wrestlers, it seems like the Lakers are really trying to pull that arm underneath, roll a wrist, try to get take one of the components away from getting an escape. So 24 seconds remain, and this would be a crucial time. This would be a great time for Levi to get out and get his bonus or get the escape point and make it 2-1. But just as Levi was starting to feel comfortable, Chase Smith throws a boot in and kind of stretches him out. And here we go into a cheap tilt type situation. Oh, sliding over. We had back points. We got to 1. And the time was our friend there as Chase Smith was working some magic there. And Levi works his way out of it by the help of the clock. So it was Chase Smith's choice. He deferred. Levi took down, and I was kind of curious what he would do because great ride by Chase Smith in the first period there, and I kind of thought, well, maybe Levi will do this, but here's the same thing happen, only this time Mr. Smith from the Lakers gets 2 back points. So I was kind of wondering if they would go back up. Jason, I'm not the best expert on what coaches, and even at this point, I think they like to see what their wrestlers can do.
I agree, Lance. I don't think I could have said any better myself.
Nice. I'm 1 for 1 for the day. So definitely Chase Smith, 8th grader, looks very comfortable on top. He is working that arm. Looks like he's now trying to tilt him over, which is always a dangerous position. I know that when I watch my son wrestle, and that pulling the opponent over the top of you always scared me like no belief. And my son would say, "Don't worry about it, Dad. I got him." So I'm thinking it's kind of the same thing here. He has got Levi Krusel pretty flat here and is really working those arms. He's got a boot in, stretching him out a little bit, and is really heavy. If you can see, I don't know what your vantage point is. The camera, it's pretty decent. It looks like that he's really heavy on Levi. and he's going from one thing to the next. We have 30 seconds about on the clock, and Jason's right on it. And looks like we got a cradle. He pulls him over the top, and we got more back points coming here. So ending this second period, looks like there's 3 more waiting to happen, is going to make the score 7-0 unless something else happens. And he's got his shoulders pretty tight. He's locked in there pretty good, and he's turning Levi back and forth. So there's the 3. 3 seconds remain, and it's 7-0, and we'll go into the third period. So that was a tough period for Levi. Took down, had trouble getting out, and Chase Smith did a good job. So Chase Smith's choice as he deferred, he just says, I'm going down, and he's out. So 8-0, picks up the bonus point, so Levi needs a good takedown or a good set of flurries, but it looks like Chase Smith is really coming to wrestle, and Levi's back where our younger wrestlers and our lower weights have been in that front headlock position. But this hasn't been a good spot for Levi, and there's 2 points as he just kind of sits back, and now Levi's in a spot that he hasn't had a lot of success yet tonight.
I'll just say this, Chase Smith looks very strong, just an 8th grader, but he looks very well polished on this mat here tonight.
Exactly, and he's back to work in the upper body, and he's not afraid to put himself out there. You can, as you're watching here tonight, he's all over, and he just repositions until he gets you to go where you want to go. So Levi, there's more back points here, and he's definitely looking for 6 off this one, and there it is. And so after a great start by Middelson, not an upset win, so to speak, but a good win. Minnewaska follows with 2 pins back-to-back, so scoreboard already. So this will be a good time to see the Yellow Jackets come out here.
And this is one that, if you're the Yellow Jackets, you want to try to get some momentum here, as it'd be Mason Schiffler against Caden Felt.
So we have Mason Schiffler's a freshman for the Lakers. He did wrestle varsity last year. From what I could tell, he had a 16-26 record. He finished 5th in the section, so does have some experience on the mat. And Caden Felt is 3-3 this year and was 15-24 and finished 6th at sections last year. So 2 wrestlers that I think know their way around the mat and are probably evenly matched, but great shot at a double, and Caden's defending it off well. Switch to a single. Caden tries to, he's kind of patenting that, where he tries to get that little catch, like a cow catcher type situation, and other teams, I think, maybe are starting to see it a little bit, and they're just staying heavy instead of going. So we got a blood timeout, Jason. I don't know if you want to stay live here or head to commercial.
We can keep it right here. We got some exciting events here coming up tonight. We have this one right now between Perham and Minnewaska area. The next match will be Minnewaska area taking on Brainerd. We will start up a new stream for that one. And then the final match of the night will be Perham versus Brainerd, and we'll set up a stream for that. So we'll have 3 different streams, so make sure to keep searching Magnitude Sports here on YouTube, and you'll get these action here tonight. Also, take a look at our schedule upcoming. A lot of exciting events going on. February 6th, we'll have Enderlin versus Shiloh Christian. And then also Fargo Davies versus Sioux Falls and girls hockey. That's senior night. And then the 8th, Enderlin versus Kindred. For us, we're back Tuesday night. And one that we're looking forward to, Perham against Detroit Lakes and Moorhead in a triangular. That should be a very fun one there when those teams come here to the Hive.
It is sure nice to have a lot of home events, and even though you can't be here, we're able to broadcast since we're at home, and we were able to come into your home. So a lot of events. Follow Magnitude Sports. They're a great local connection for us.
And also, you're going to hear a lot of us here the next few weeks, just so you know, a lot of events coming on. But we're going to be back to action here on the mat.
Minute 13, as we're on the mat here. It's a 12-3 lead for Minnewaska on the team score, and 2-0 in favor of Mason Schiffler, who had the early takedown. Caden tried a little cow catcher type move, and I don't know if they bumped heads or what, but we had a little blood timeout, and now we're back to live action, and looks like we're trying to hook up a cradle again. Excellent job by Caden, kind of trying to figure out where he's on the mat there and not trying to let anything happen, not look like he's fleeing the mat, but definitely trying to make his way out of this situation and a restart. And that's exactly what he did.
Well, looking at this Minnewaska team, you can tell they're well coached, a lot of experience, even though for a younger group right now here at the lower weights.
Exactly, and I think we have a little bit more blood here, Jason, and probably one of those things that I don't know the most about, but it seems like something maybe we could go over for listeners at home is you get 5 minutes of blood time. So if that 5 minutes every time that you have to go over, the clock starts running, and if you run out of that blood time, you lose the match. So it's one of those things that both teams want to work quickly. They want to get their wrestlers back to a good, safe situation. And that time's running right now on the clock, and it'll run 5 minutes for each wrestler. So it's whichever wrestler warrants the blood timeout. So we're back with 30 seconds remaining, and we're kind of Felt back on the bottom. And Schiffler doing a good ride out. They're definitely powerful, Jason. You see that they really kind of want to impose their will, and there's a roll by Felt, which almost lends him back into that same spot that he gave up the points in the first place. So,
well, we talked about, you watch this Minnewaska area team. You guys may not have been able to see it early, but we were able to see it here before the match started. They're one of the few teams we've seen come into this gym and actually utilize the track. And they utilize many different things about this gym here in Perham, and we got the chance to see that before them warming up here today.
And that's what I would say. You're talking about well-coached group and very determined. And very determined. Good job by Caden Felt there in the last seconds not to give up, and worked his way out. And there he catches him on no back points, but he did get the escape. So it's 2-1 in favor of Schiffler, and Schiffler almost ended up on his back there. Caden caught him again. He does have the arm bar in, and we'll see what Schiffler does here. He's definitely staying. Again, a couple things that I heard the double arm bars actually in is take your time, elbow tip down, and walk over the head. So we'll see if this works. And here goes Caden trying to walk him over the head, and we'll see what Schiffler does here. There's not much you can do when your arms are both trapped behind your back, but he's doing a good job staying out of it right now. But Caden's starting to separate a little bit, and we'll see if he can hold it, or if Mason Schiffler can wiggle his way out. We've got about a minute remaining, and we're right on cue with the clock, and Caden's working hard to get that turning that double armbar into points, and I don't think he's in a rush yet. But it's one of those that I think the longer this moves in, the more impatient you get, and you want to see some points happen. And right there, hats off to Mason Schiffler as a 9th grader. He turns it into a stalemate, which you could see the frustration on Caden Felt's face when he didn't get those back points. And now the escape has happened, and it's 3-1, 36 seconds remaining, and Caden's looking very aggressive right now. Sometimes that's good, and sometimes it puts you out of position to where you want to be, and the other wrestler takes advantage of that. So let's see what happens here, and if Caden can settle back in, and Mason Schiffler can do his magic, and there he goes. And there's 2 points, and they're off the mat, and it's 5-1 Schiffler with 13 seconds remaining, or somewhere in that vicinity anyways. 5-1 lead for Schiffler, and a really nice double leg, and he's done that twice. Caden tries a switch again. Schiffler just kind of posts him up and says, not today. And there's 5 seconds remaining, and now both wrestlers seem to be getting really physical, Jason.
This is one that's got the feel that both coaches really feel like they need to have to get the points that they need in this match, just the way both teams edge of their seats. And you just got that feeling that this is one of those flip-flop coin toss matches.
Yeah, certainly, and you can see both coaches definitely really but coaching up their kids in this one, feeling that sense of victory, because a victory here for Minnewaska puts some pretty good separation on the board, and also a win here for Perham from Felt, and now that there's not much deficit there, and as we head into these middle weights. So Felt is in the down position, trailing right now 5-1, and Schiffler seemed really strong on top. I've been pretty impressed with these Minnewaska wrestlers as they, I believe, if they haven't seen the weight room, I'd be very surprised, Jason.
That's another one of those. It's just outstanding the way they know their way around this mat and everything about it right here, and they're like going, setting the tone, and been very aggressive and very strong.
And we have Coach Mulkey supervising today, and I know he spends a lot of time with his athletes and all athletes in the weight room. And I know one of the things talking with him is just the confidence kids get from knowing their body, knowing how strong they are, and just feeling like there's nobody better than them on the mat or on the field or at the baseball diamond. So, weight room is really important this day and age.
It's definitely changed everything in sports right now, and that's been kind of the advantage.
28 seconds remaining, and Mason Schiffler is looking very much like he's feeling very confident in a 5-1 score here, and he's not really trying to score, and he's certainly not letting Caden, and I think that's kind of the funky stuff that Caden's brought. He doesn't want to get caught in something that's really funky and give up that big changeup. So let's see if they get no points awarded. Caden's down, 5 seconds remain. To me, it looks like it's going to be a 5-1 victory, which will push the score to 15-3. And looks like we might have a caution, and we do. So the clock stays the same. Nice burst by Caden. And there's been no stalling. So, and there's the final. So 5-1, Mason Schiffler with a really nice match. Can't take much away from Caden Felt either. A real fun match to watch and have the crowd all involved. We'll try some things here, and hopefully it comes through. So if I haven't been on, I apologize. I've been talking the whole time, but we'll see what happens. Here we are to 132, and for the Yellow Jackets, it's Gareth Covington. So Gareth Covington with a quick takedown, and I did not hear who's coming out for. We were trying to figure out our speaker situation. So if you still can't hear me, I apologize. This is should not happen 2 weeks in a row, but it has. Just so you know, we're doing our best to get it going. So 2-1 with an escape there. And again, I'm going to try to pick up the name. I think it's Jacob Lean who is wrestling at this one. So this might be the place where we start to see a bump or a move from Minnewaska, as I believe they weighed in 2 wrestlers at 132. So I've heard Jacob a couple times here. Jacob is a junior and wrestling Gareth Covington. Gareth has had a 6-4 start to the season, and if anybody has had his trials with some tough wrestlers, it has been Gareth Covington. Every night it seems like he is getting a wrestler or moving to a spot where he's going to get a wrestler that's either placed high in sections, been to the state tournament, or ranked this year.
Yeah, he's had just so many tough matches, but he's always a battler for the Yellow Jackets, and he'll continue to do that all the way down to the wire here at 132.
Exactly, and I had a great chance to talk to Gareth as he's in on a single right now with 20 seconds remaining and looking at a good position to get some points, but Jacob Lean turns back into him.
And I want to quickly correct you, it's Jacob Blair on the mat. I think
Jacob Blair?
I'd like to thank one of our listeners for giving us that update.
Nice. Thank you, listeners, for there's a lot of Jacobs there. So Jacob Blair is also a junior, was 41-9 last year. So there you go. Gareth gets another wrestler that's had some good success, and Gareth is down 3-2 in this match as we head into the second period, and Gareth chooses down. And Jacob Blair is, again, let's see if it's the same style of ride as we head to the middle weights or not. And I'll kind of finish up my story there. I met Gareth in the hallway, and one of the things that I remember, my son Leighton wrestled here for the Perham Yellow Jackets, and he had one of those years where every night it seemed like it was a state-ranked wrestler or something like that, and it just made him just ultra tough by the end of the year. And I remind Gareth about that good things come to those who are working and taking those battles on, and he definitely just shook his head and smiled like he's ready for any task.
It definitely shows that even in the score up here at 3 in this second period. And it's going to be one, I think, that's going to go down to the wire. And that's what Covington has done all year long, is had a lot of those close matches against some very tough opponents. And Blair, again, 41-9 last year, third in the sections, is one of those tough kids that Covington gets to line up against.
Right, this has been a fun one. You can kind of sense everybody sliding up a little bit in their chair, whoever they're cheering for at this point, and they're ready. And a few more chants in the crowd as they're yelling out for their wrestler and giving them the support. And this is a good one right now. So our clock seems to be right and working really, really well. So I probably will not be giving that as much as I have in the past.
Giving me too much credit there, Lance.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. I know I couldn't do this without you, so that's for sure. Oh, there's a good duck under, but Gareth's really quick on his feet tonight. He really seems like he's ready on the defense, and he's also shown some offense. So good for Gareth, and Jacob Blair is working extremely hard. And there's Gareth back in 9 seconds, but man, Jacob Blair is heavy, and there he's looking for 2. Who's coming out on top? And nobody does. So what an ultimate scramble with no points awarded. Excellent job as we head into the third with a 3-3 tie. Blair looks like he's taking down. Obviously wants to get that 1-point lead right away. Cover up by Gareth. Jacob looks like maybe trying into a tripod type situation. Gareth kind of trying to see what he's trying to get on here, but with a good solid ride. Blair is kind of spreading out here a little bit. Now gets to his base. Gonna try to break the hands there. Gareth's trying to pick him up and return him to the mat. A certain amount of time, a good switch there. Blair's looking for 2, not 1, and he gets 2. And so that makes it 5-3. 5-3 Blair, and he's been very comfortable on top, Jason. So we'll see what Gareth's got. Gareth's got that explosion. He can get out. But this Blair is a really good rider.
Blair's been outstanding. I've been very impressed with almost every of this wrestler on this Minnewaska area team as they continue to battle here. Covington working hard, trying to get out though.
So 1 minute, it all kind of comes down to this. We're going to need an escape or a reversal for sure out of Covington here fairly soon, so he can start to do some work. And a great switch, and there it is, 1 right away, and then right back into a reshot. And Blair kind of is underneath him. Let's see who gets the best of this. Front headlock type position. And Blair just seems, again, Jason, like they're really strong wrestlers. And they're not really fazed by being in bad situations. They know that their strength is going to help them out along the way. So really fun here as the crowd's starting to get into it. The coaches are into it. The fellow wrestlers are into it. So even though we're 150 strong or whatever it is, it's starting to get loud in here.
Well, you can definitely see it. I mean, the fans are energized. They have been looking for a match like this kind of all night, and they're getting right here with this one.
There's a nice shot, but met with the front headlock. 14 seconds remaining. And there he's in on the leg. This is going to go right down to the wire. Let's see what happens here. Here goes Gareth. Can he spin around? 5 seconds remains. And Gareth goes, and Blair comes back to his feet. Gareth tries a headlock and gets rethrown, but after the buzzer. So it's going to end up 5-4. Woo! That's about all I can say for that one.
Well, that was an outstanding match, and applaud Jacob Blair and his effort there, especially defensively, doing a good job preventing a late takedown from Covington.
That's the 138 Minnewaska junior, Jacob Lee. From Perham, freshman,
So here's the flip up. This is Jacob Lean now. So we got the kind of the flip-flop in action there. And I'm sorry, listeners, that I didn't catch that the first time. So this is Jacob Lean, a junior wrestling for the Lakers, against Carson Beyer. Carson Beyer is a 9th grader for the Yellow Jackets. Carson comes in with a record of 1-9. Definitely wrestled some good kids. One of the things that we know about Carson is he's going to give it his all when he's on the mat. And here we are in the front headlock position and trying to do a little roll there. So the gator roll is coming out early, and a nice smile there from Carson Beyer as maybe he's just going to show us something he hasn't shown yet this year. Stands fill up a little more as Brainerd has made their way into the arena and taken in some of the action, and I'm sure they'll go warm up before too long and be ready to roll as we get going. So a minute left to go on the clock. 0s across the board. Jacob Lean, a junior, versus Carson Beyer, a freshman. And there's been good action, just no scoring yet. Lean was in on a single, and then Beyer kind of reshoots and then reshot by Lean. So they kind of danced right on the edge of the mat, and neither one of them came up with that takedown. But again, just because it's 0-0 doesn't mean they're standing in the middle of the end circle and they're going at each other. Looks like it might be one, Jason, that the first takedown might be huge in this one for confidence for both kids.
Well, I definitely agree with that. It's going to be one of those that kind of sets the tone for this match. The way these two seem to be very evenly matched right now here in this first period.
Byers in that front headlock position. We'll see if he's got gator roll on his mind again or not enough room out there. So back to the center we go. 18 seconds remain. 0-0. I know that you can see it on there, but in case something's going awry, it's 18-3 in favor of Minnewaska at this point. And good matches, just where Yellow Jackets haven't been on the right end of them for a few.
Those Yellow Jackets faithful, I've heard us talk about it all year long, bonus points, and so far 2 pins has been really kind of a key thing for this Minnewaska team.
So we'll go into the second period here. Both wrestlers try a shot right at the end. It's Byers' choice. He defers. Lean says, I'll go down. And so we'll see if Lean gets out right away, goes for a reversal. One thing I've noticed about the Lakers wrestlers is they really kind of like that 2-point reversal almost more than they do the escape. As I think I could go back and look, and most of their kids have tried the reversal more than just getting out with the escape. A lot of action on the bottom by Lean. Byers staying tough, chest on shoulder, and kind of trying to hook that leg, and there he goes. He flattens him out on the mat again. So good job by Beyer kind of holding Lean down and not giving him much room to get out right now. Here comes a little roll, and this is usually there it goes. Once you kind of break those hands and surf a little bit, there comes the 2-point reversal. And so I definitely see a trend here with the Lakers going after the 2-point reversal more so than just the escape and trying to create separation on the scoreboard early on.
I was going to say, right on cue for you, Lance. You were able to call that one and get that one there.
2 for 2 tonight.
Yeah, on a roll tonight.
I just won't try any sayings till the very end, and then I'll feel good about myself.
I was hoping you were going to set yourself up for another good saying.
Beyer stands up and faces him, but Lean does a good job of just kind of sucking in the leg, and then they go off the mat. So 37.5 seconds, Lean ahead, Beyer down in the down position, and we'll see what Lean does here. And nice return right to the mat and kind of flattens Beyer out to start with. So again, it seems like Minnewaska's fairly comfortable everywhere they're at, but good riders, good strong kids, just as the Yellow Jackets are, and this could be another barn burner as it looks like we could be going 2-0 into the third period.
I think a lot you can go to the coaching of Minnewaska area, how well coached they are, and also the fact that well coached. They're also well experienced. You tell they've been around the mat. And their schedule that they've faced this year, I think, has definitely helped them prepare for this type of match.
Exactly. Those tough schedules pay off in the end. That's what we talked about earlier with Gareth Covington wrestling some really good opponents. So Bayer takes the down position. He's in good shape here. All he has to do is get out here or pull his own reversal, and the score will be tied.
And I want to talk about with this Minnewaska team, an interesting note, their head coach, Chip Rankin, also their superintendent, but he's deployed with the U.S. Army on the Horn of Africa on a 2-year mission right now. So I think that goes to see and shows the discipline of this Minnewaska area team.
Exactly. Exactly. That's a good fact you had there, Jason, and we thank him for his service and what he brings to the sport of wrestling as well. And I'm sure the kids, too, want to wrestle for him and what he's doing. So great job by the Minnewaska wrestler, just kind of staying on top of Bayer here and making sure that Bayer doesn't have much room to do anything. With the referee coming down, I'm not sure if we're looking at a stall, if we're looking, we might be looking for back points. He's really, and there Bayer slips out. So just when I thought Bayer might be tipping over, exposing his shoulders, he slips out of it and ties this 2-2 with 48 seconds to go. He hooks a leg, looking for a cradle maybe situation. Lean definitely looking for the escape. Bayer almost gets him rolling towards his back, and he releases him. So they must think that the coaching staff says, hey, Bayer, go get it. You win this one. And what you couldn't ask more as a kid. And then he kind of takes a wild shot there. But where I was going with that, Jason, is if you're a kid wrestling for Coach Dave Vetch, you got to feel confident when he says, hey, you go get him and win this one for us.
And I was going to say, you're right there. You kind of like baited him into that one. He took that step back and just knew he had that angle. But like I said, like what you said there, it instills some confidence into youngsters to say, hey, go out and try to get this win.
Right, so it looks like we're going to have a 5-2 victory for Lean over Bayer, and Bayer was in that right to the end, and we've seen that more than once from Carson Bayer. So I think his best is yet to come as we go. So 21-3 in favor of the Lakers on our scoreboard, and we'll head into 145. And I'll try to pick up the names here quick.
I'd like to thank you once again for tuning in. Also thank our sponsors, EOT Insurance, as well as United Community Bank.
So at 145, bumping up from weighing in at 138 is Caden Kozel. Caden Kozel is a junior, and he will be wrestling a sophomore in Jacob McCleary. McCleary, we've well stated, coming back out for wrestling, has a 1-7 record. Certainly hasn't wrestled like that. Been ahead in some matches. Just working his way back into that mat savvy, I guess I would say. And there's two right away, and looking on a side cradle there. That's good to see McCleary go right into it, and he's got him on his back. Back points are happening, but McCleary's thinking fall right now. And nice job. He's kind of repositioning himself, so he hasn't got his points, but as he repositions himself, he's got this thing pretty tight. But every time I say that, Caden Kozel works his way out of it. So there he gets his 3. So it is, I believe it's 5-0, isn't it? 4?
You only gave him 2 on that one.
Boy, it seemed like he was there a long time. I would have guessed it was longer than that. So thank you, Jason, for picking up on that. I got so fired up looking for the pin there for a while that I forgot to look at what the ref was holding. So 35 seconds to go here, and was trying to see who's going to come out on top here, because McCleary was looking and tries back and forth to his cradle, and they were both rolling, and I wasn't sure if it was a tilt or if they were coming out, if Waska was coming out on top here.
Just let some of the viewers know, we see some of you asking questions. We'll be starting a new stream for the Brainerd Minnewaska area match, which will follow this one, so make sure to stay tuned to Magnitude Sports. We'll still have that stream, but it will be a new one coming up here later tonight.
This is another one. Here we back into a headlock position. Short time. There's got to be some sort of points. They give him an escape. They give him an escape, which to me would be a little curious if I was a Minnewaska fan. It looked like he had him in the headlock and definitely had the reversal and was starting. There would have been back points if there would have been a few seconds to go. So 4-1, just not undermining the ref in any way, but just on my vantage point, seemed kind of curious. McCleary comes out, gets that point right back, so it's 5-1. In favor of McCleary. He shoots right in, takes the wrestler to his back. Nope, the wrestler does a great job. Mr. Kozel does a great job of getting himself off of his back right away as he hits. So 7-1 lead. And McCleary's going to cut him, so makes it 7-2. So another one of those that I kind of like Coach Vetch's. Here you go, Jacob. Here's your confidence. We know that you can get the takedown. So I think a lot of confidence is being built here by Coach Vetch and his coaching staff tonight as they're wrestling the Lakers.
I think what we're seeing also from McCleary, it seems like he's definitely starting to get into more wrestling shape as I say this, but now he's getting potentially here
single leg here by Caden Kozel, but there's that mat savvy that we were talking about earlier. I think earlier on in the season, that would have been a takedown, and McCleary would have kind of gave up his momentum. As we speak now, no points awarded. McCleary's still in a good position now, restarting. So that's what I'm kind of looking for as I look to watch Jacob wrestle more and more and how comfortable he gets now on the mat. So good job, Jacob McCleary, and also a great shot there by Caden Kozel. Both wrestlers just kind of maybe a little collar tie there by Mr. Kozel and kind of pulling, trying to drags, and then a little half shot. Ooh, there's a nice shot by McCleary, which gets the takedown with 29 seconds to go. So a half shot leads into a full shot for McCleary and a nice takedown and a good separator right there. If he can ride this out and go up by 7, now he's in the spot looking for bonus points as we head into the third. But here goes that roll again. So he's kind of a defensive pin mode there, and boy, exposing those shoulders, it's tough on a wrestler to not do in that situation. But we're lucky that they didn't end up both shoulders on the mat. So going to period 3, and Kozel will have his choice, and he chooses down. He was choosing down, and coaches say both up. So interesting that was the Yellow Jackets' choice now becomes Waska's choice. And so really interesting here to see what both coaching staffs are thinking. 9-3. Oh, we're looking at a headlock situation. And McCleary's trying to ride back. He's still got McCleary's arm trapped, so let's see what he does here. Jacob's in a bad spot here now, and he's really wiggling and trying to get tight. This hold is getting tight, and of course, every time the Lakers want a pin, and it certainly could have been, but it's hard when they're wiggling like that to know if it is. But there's the fall. So, you know, it's one of those things I starting to feel for Jacob because he's right there every match, and I think these will start to go his way the more time he spends on the mat. But that's probably a huge win, I would believe, for the Lakers as it separates the scoreboard now to 27-3, and we head into 152. Okay, so 2 wrestlers we don't even have on our sheet right now, but Jack LaFond out for the Yellow Jackets. And did you catch the name?
It sounded like Nathan Delve is what I thought I heard.
I think you're right. And the listeners, if you certainly know, again, give us a little shout out there to help us out, because we know the Yellow Jackets. We don't know the Lakers quite as well. So Lakers with the takedown. Maybe a takedown and reversal. I was so busy trying to find people on my score sheet. It says 2-2. And here we go back into that arm situation. And boy, it's definitely a strength of the Lakers, and he has certainly got that armbar in tight and looking for half on the other side, and he's got him to his back, and man, they get this situation tight, and they're looking for that pinfall again, and the more that Jack LaFawn kicks, there's the fall.
And that was Nathan Dell with the victory for Minnewaska area. They continue to extend their lead, and their fans, they brought a strong contingent of fans here to Perham within the COVID-19 regulations, and they're very animated and excited.
So Nathan Dell, a freshman, puts the scoreboard at 33-3. So, but we know how fast this can go the other way. We've seen it happen before. And here comes what I would consider our stopper and a team leader in Jack Fudge. Jack Fudge, for those of you listening that haven't, is ranked now number 2 in the state of Minnesota, according to the Guillotine. 10-0 on the season. Finished 3rd in the state last year. Was section champ with a 40-3 record last year. So Jack's definitely working his way up the wall of most wins. And just as we speak on cue, he gets the 2-point takedown. He is wrestling, I believe they said Dalton Fredericks, right? Dalton Fredericks is a junior, and just kind of the same thing going on here. Here goes now Jack to the arms and looking at the armbar situation. So we're seeing these wrestlers feel very confident on top and being strong, and Jack's just doing a nice job here. And we'll see he's got lots of time with a minute remaining, kind of hopping side to side, going from that armbar to the power half, and putting extreme pressure with the head, kind of get his head to come off the mat here. But boy, some strength there as we look at Dalton Fredericks. He kind of separates the arms and says, let me have that back. And we have a technical violation. We have a technical violation, I believe, and that gives... It must have been a technical violation on Fredericks, as I thought maybe it was on Jack. So it's 3-0. We're back to the down position, and Jack goes right back to work, pulling that arm underneath, trapping it, and here's an escape. So Dalton Fredericks comes out with an escape, 3-1, 30 seconds remaining. Jack goes right back to his offense. Good block by Fredericks. So again, not a good period for Jack, and probably a really good win situation for the Lakers, knowing that they were facing Fudge.
Yeah, and Jack Fudge, like you said, number 2 ranked wrestler in the state, just reached the 175 win plateau here recently for the Yellow Jackets, has been one of the top wrestlers for the Yellow Jackets, not just for Perham, but for the state.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch Jack for many, many years. We'll head into the second period here. Fudge up 3-1. So a 3-1 lead. It's Red's choice. So Red means that the Lakers have the choice. They defer. Jack just goes right down and will look. And there we have a caution. Jack shoots the gun just a little bit, but definitely looking for an early escape or a switch. And he's right up to his base, looking to separate the hands. Nice mat return there for Dalton Fredericks.
And you talk about this Minnewaska area squad and their workout in the weight room, just looking at Fredericks right now, just a beast in the upper body.
Exactly. And Jack's no slouch either under there, so you just start to see that some of it's just pure power by these Lakers, and fun to watch and fun to see, and should be a motivator for, probably motivates their young wrestlers, and also should motivate others. And there's a big mat return. Picked Jack up in the air and returned him to the mat. So we have a minute 14, still 3-1 as Fredericks is doing a great job of riding right now, and not really giving Jack his opportunity. But I just really look for Jack to have a strike here somewhere where you see something and all of a sudden we've got a whole bunch of action happening.
Well, and we're so used to seeing that in many of matches that Jack Fudge wrestles, and as he just gets that escape there.
That escape changes the score to 4-1. Shot there met by Fredericks. So Fredericks not backing down at all. going at him. Jack in on a single, dumps him right to his back, and there's some of what we were talking about. A huge bridge by Fredericks right now. Back points are happening. Jack's just tightening it up, and I wouldn't be surprised off the mat. So Fredericks ended up where neither wrestler was out of the circle, but the way they had landed, he ended up with his feet on the gym floor, and that caused the stoppage. So Jack takes a 9-1 lead, and just like we said, it went from 3-1 to 9-1 in a matter of about 30 seconds. So that's what we've known and loved of watching Jack Fudge wrestle. So 15 seconds remain, 9-1 score.
Well, just had that feeling that Jack was getting ready to set something up and go on the attack, and he did just that.
And somehow I don't think we're done yet, Jason.
Oh, it's going to be an interesting third period. And, there's always fireworks in a Jack Fudge match.
Yep, and I look forward to it. So this time it's Dalton Fredericks' decision. He takes down, and with Jack leading 9-1, he gets out 9-2, which wipes away that bonus point. But as soon as we speak, Jack right around, takes him to his back. But Fredericks does a great job of getting off of his back. But there is our margin again to give that major decision and put the Jackets back on the scoreboard. So,
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Lance, but we talk about the fireworks with Jack Fudge's match. Sometimes you got to wonder what goes through the coach's mind. Is, you said you were excited to see it, but sometimes as a coach, you've got to wonder, we already got what we need. I mean, kind of going through the mind a little bit.
Well, one of the things I think when you have the record that Jack Fudge has, you just kind of get excited as a coach too. Maybe some of the younger wrestlers who aren't quite as experienced, you go, don't do that. Oh, one of those. But I think with Jack, you go, yep, because he finds his way out of it one way or another. So 11-3, I kind of have a bad look at the score clock here. I should be looking at Jason's score clock and see 11-3. And there is a stalemate where Fredericks was almost into a scoring position there, and that would change the game just a little bit. So here we go, a minute remaining, and Jack kind of slides by, gets the 2. So one of those rules that maybe people wonder, hey, does he really have them or not, as he's really stretching them out here. And I'm just going to stop talking for a second and see what happens. One of those to finish my story, one of those that we see is as soon as you're behind the wrestler and the wrestler has to balance himself or puts a hand on the mat, it is a takedown. So another one for Jack makes it 15-3. So now we're at 12, but only 15 seconds remaining, but definitely looking for back points. And there's a reversal. So tides turn. He'd have to get some quick back points, but boy, that's probably saving the Lakers another point. And wow, that was a nice move, which got the Laker fans on their feet again.
But it kind of goes to a little bit of what I was referencing about some of those big moments that we've seen in the past from Jack Fudge. But a nice victory there, though, for Jack. But he's a little bit frustrated with the way that final seconds ended.
Right, so 15-5 win for Jack. Puts the team score to 33-7 as we head into 170.
At 170 pounds from Minnewaska, the senior Ryan Van Luke. And from Perham.
So for Minnewaska at 170, we have a senior Ryan Van Luke. And Ryan Van Luke is a senior and another well-built young man. And for the Yellow Jackets, we have a freshman in Hudson Hackle. Hackle 4 and 6 on the year, and Van Luik looks like he's trying to use some of his muscle and skill there, and he looks to have an early. Oh, no, nice job by Hackle. I was ready to give him the early takedown, but Hackle does a great job of spinning out of it and saves himself going down in the 2 points, obviously. So another good match should come out here. Hackle is continually getting better. Van Luik trying to catch Hackle, probably could have had his 2 there. It was definitely looking to take Hackle right to his back. So we'll see if that is something that continues, that Van Luik's looking for the big points or what's happening. And here Hackle is in a good position, gets back to the front headlock, but Van Leeuwen meets him and ends up with the 2 points. So again, some of that might be just that senior muscle versus freshman muscle, and we'll see that maybe change in the year's future, as I think Hudson knows his way around the weight room, as we've been on a continuous journey of the weight room tonight, it seems like. But I'm looking forward to seeing Hudson as he comes through the ranks as a Yellow Jacket wrestler. Here it's only 2-0, so one move and Hudson's equaled it up, or at least cut it to 1. So again, it seems like they're very consistent on what they do, Jason. Arm trapped underneath the body, looking for some tilts, looking for some turns, definitely trying to take one of your appendages out so you can't get out when you're on the bottom. So again, looking for the tilt here a little bit. I think time's going to run out. And Hackle will be down 2-0, and it's his choice, and he defers. And let's see what Van Leeuwen wants to do, and he says, I will go down. So we'll see if we have a quick escape here, or if Hackle can ride. And I don't know, Jason, but it's looking like our matchup at 182 might be a possibility here as we're winding our way down. So Van Leeuwen with the escape. And for those of you who have just joined us, a chance, we'll still say, to see Brian Ramos, who's number 10 in 2A at 9-0, against a 2-time state champ in Tyson Meyer. So something that Jason and I talked about early on and are really excited about. Here's Hackle. Hackle does a nice job. He looked like he was going to go to his back, and he kept a good balance there, and he made Van Leeuwen kind of bail on this and gets the 2-point takedown. So 3-2. It'll be Hackle's choice at the end of this period. So again, if it stays like this, it could be tied up really easily. So great job by Hudson Hackle to keep this in tight and kind of avoid some of those big point moves that it looks like Van Leeuwen wants to do. Hudson's trying to lock up his cradle, and Van Leeuwen just kind of stands up with it, walks him right out of bounds, and so we'll get a restart. And the first time we did this, Van Leeuwen got out fairly easily, so we'll see what happens here.
Should be interesting, like you said, Hudson Hackle, he's gaining experience every day, and this is a big match for him, I think. Facing that senior, another opportunity to get some experience against a senior wrestler.
And there's nothing like being on the mat, Jason. You and I were doing the one where he was down 6-7-0, was put into a cradle against Grand Rapids Senior, and the cradle slipped, and all at once Hackle had the win by pinfall. So, you take those things, and now he thinks, hey, I'm in all of these matches no matter what happens. So,
and still watching that match is still vivid in my mind, just because of the facial expressions from that match.
Yes, it was fun to watch for sure. Van Leeuwen with the escape, which is huge. We're down to about 5 seconds left. Huge escape for him because now he takes a 2-point lead. Hackle just kind of charges in, and Van Leeuwen says, okay, let's go headlock style. So we would have ended up out of bounds anyways, but again, our friend is really that clock again and making sure that we didn't give up more points. Hackle chooses down in this situation. Van Leeuwen covers. Hackle with a quick switch. I'm not sure what Van Leeuwen will want to do here. I haven't got a really good read. There's that roll, and good job by Hackle to tie the score up. So 4-4 on the roll. Now Hackle takes his turn to work on the arms.
Well, Captain Obvious in me tells you that's not what he was having in mind.
No, that's for sure. But we'll see. Trying to do a kind of a stack him up type situation for Hackle. Again, we've got a minute and a half left. Van Leeuwen obviously gets an escape. Would be a victory for him. So we'll see how long Hackle tries to turn him before they cut him, and there he goes. So 5-4, Van Leeuwen, and I would say right now, obviously it's 5-4, it's anybody's game, but both wrestlers on their feet have had their ups and their downs tonight. So we have a blood timeout. We have a blood timeout by Hackle, so both wrestlers will get a little breather here. That 5 minute starts on the clock.
We'll keep it right here, but we'll just let you know for fans that are looking forward to seeing Minnewaska area and Brainerd, we'll still have that match here on Magnitude Sports Network, but we're going to start a new stream for that, so make sure to research again. We'll have it, Magnitude will have the next match between Brainerd and Minnewaska area, and then we'll close out tonight with another new stream for Perham and Brainerd, all right here from the Hive as we get back to action here in just a second. But it's been an exciting night of wrestling, and I know if you're a Minnewaska area Laker fan, you have to be really happy with the performance and effort you've seen from your wrestlers here tonight.
Exactly, and you can tell they come into this match battle tested as both wrestlers come. They got the blood cleaned up, and we're ready to go again with a minute to go. Third period, Van Leeuwen up by 1, and we'll see if Van Leeuwen becomes cautious. He looks like he's a little bit more defensive, palms up, not letting Hackle get into some of that funky stuff that he wanted. Front headlock position for Van Leeuwen, so he seized an opportunity there, but Hudson Hackle's doing a great job of just stiffening up, not letting it happen. So good for Hudson. Fun to see him watch, and another one of those that it's a well done match, and both sets of fans are really into it now. So good shot by Hackle, met by Van Leeuwen with the head, and Hudson tries again, one of those situations where he tried to get a little throw in there, and Van Leeuwen ends up on top. So now leads 7-3 with 15 seconds left, and it maybe wasn't desperation, but it was getting down there in time, and I think Hackle said, I feel like I can get it now, let's try it.
Well, I think I noticed in the match he looked up at one of our 4 amazing scoreboards that he saw in the corner, took a quick look up and noticed the clock, and then decided that, you know what, I need to make this move. And fortunately for him, it didn't work out, but it's something he'll learn for going forward.
Exactly. So that puts our score at 36-7 in favor of the Lakers, and Ramos is coming out at 182. And this is Tyson Meyer, two-time state champ, was 46-1 last year, currently number 1 by the guillotine in Class A, and this is kind of what we were waiting to see. Brian's been on a tear and has been a takedown machine to start out this year, and this Meyer is a well-built young man, Jason.
Definitely the match that we talked about, we kind of circled and we're hoping to see, and now with the way the duels played out, we get the opportunity to see it.
Exactly, and there's a shot by Ramos, and Ramos has kind of displayed his quickness on all the matches that we've covered so far, and this might be the first time that he's met quickness for quickness with Mr. Meyer, the two-time state champ. So a good opportunity for Brian to gauge where he's at, and I would guess for Minnewaska, they don't get a ton of chances to get Tyson Meyer, quality wrestler, too, to wrestle against. So probably a win-win for both. Meyer in on a deep shot on a single. Brian's going deep waist on him. We got about 50 seconds to remain. Brian's scooting, kind of understanding where he's at. Tyson Meyer's trying to grab from a single to a double. He switches the single. This is good edge of the mat wrestling, and great job by Ramos as he kind of sees where he's at and says, let's restart this thing, and we go back to the center. So this is fun, guys. I think everybody is watching this. Even the Brainerd folks that have come in have kind of glued in to see what this one's all about. So here's Meyer in on another single, and he's got Ramos again. Ramos tries to spin. Ooh, lucky he didn't end up on his back there. He tried to roll out of that, and Meyer just kind of landed right on him, but gets the takedown. So with 15 seconds remaining, Meyer goes up 2-0, and it's fun to watch these two work, as you know that they've seen their way around the mat. So off the mat they go, and Ramos probably showed a little bit of his power to Tyson Meyer there as he kind of just crawled him right off the mat.
I was actually impressed with Ramos' quickness there. Meyer was ready to pounce once he slipped, and he was able to escape. I mean, now down 2-0, but it could have been a lot worse.
Right, and we'll see what happens here. 5 seconds remaining. Brian tries a little sit out there, but 1 second remaining. It goes 2-0. 2-0 Meyer into the second period. It was Tyson Meyer's choice. He defers, so Brian goes down, trailing 2-0. he takes the down position, and I'm always curious in this situation, will Meyer try to ride him out? Does that length that he probably has on Brian and he's flattened him out, I was always curious, do you just cut him and try the takedown approach and see who wins? But it looks like Tyson Meyer is going to try to ride him out. He's trying many different things. I saw a cradle try in there. I saw an arm bar try in there. The half was tried in there. And now he's got Brian really, really stretched out. And that's what I think you see out of some of those wrestlers that are at that state championship level. They're able to stretch their opponent out and make things really tough for them. There's some good constant motion by Ramos, and he gets the reversal. So about 1:10 remaining, 2-2, and nice job by Brian Ramos to turn the tide on Tyson Meyer, and right now Tyson knows he's in the match.
I was going to say, I'm guessing this is a spot that Tyson Meyer doesn't see himself in all that often, and I'll be interested to see how he responds to this spot in a 2-2 tie in the second.
One thing I know about Brian is he is one determined young man. So, you know, when you put a challenge in front of him, he's ready to meet that challenge. And again, these are two well-built young men, and they are giving us a show right now. Meyer quick out on that one, so up 3-2. And I'm just guessing, Jason, but I don't think it'll end 3-2.
I have to agree with you completely, though. There's too many fireworks between these two guys to have this end just 3-2.
Exactly. And there's Ramos in on a deep shot again, kind of whizzing out his, and then a spin. Oh, that's not a good spot for Brian. Brian kind of took himself out of it. That gets 2 points. So quickly that changes the outlook to a 7-2 score, and really probably gives Meyer a little chance to work on some stuff too, as he got a little separation there and can not worry so much about one takedown.
And if you're Tyson Meyer, this is the type of test you're looking forward to as yourself, a guy facing a state-ranked wrestler in 2A.
Exactly, and I would guess there's always as a competitor, you always want to face the best, and both of these guys, I'm sure are. They wouldn't be where they're at, so they're ready to go, and we are ready to go into the third period. And Tyson Meyer takes the down position and already leading 7-2. So again, I don't know how long, if Brian holds him, not long. I was going to say if Brian holds him down, how long till he lets him go. So 8-2, Meyer in on a shot, but Brian stops him with that front head. So good defense by Brian Ramos and a quick spin. And that's what I've noticed about Brian, is everything has been very explosive this year. So it's fun to see him do that. He gets the takedown, makes it 8-4, and then he releases and lets up Tyson Meyer to make it 9-4. So 5-point difference. Meyer into the double, just can't quite get that. Brian's been really quick on his feet, and this Meyer is a very fun wrestler to watch. So again, Brian senses his opening. Meyer's trying to stretch him out here. So Brian initially got in on a good single. Meyer's using his length a little bit to kind of stretch Brian out, and I guess he's going to try to pick an ankle and go around behind, or we have a stalemate. So official says, let's get started again, boys. This is fun to watch.
Well, what you're seeing is definitely the different quality of wrestler that Brian Ramos is used to facing when he's facing a Tyson Meyer. Normally the takedown game works, but when you're facing a guy as good as Meyer, it's not going to work that often against a guy like him.
What I like about these two wrestlers, they're kind of meeting each other shot for shot right now. Brian's in again, so you got to give Brian credit. He has not backed away, and he gets another takedown. So now it's 3. So and he's got his cradle hooked up here. So Brian Ramos down 9-6 with the cradle in. Meyer's length might be a little bit of a factor here as he's kind of stretched out and now posted it up, and it is, and Brian gives it up. He decides to cut him again. So we're at 10-6, 15 seconds, and Tyson Meyer goes right into his stuff, and Brian had to take a shot, and no fault to him there. This is going to look like a 12-6 match that certainly didn't seem like it was 12-6. I would guess more like 12-10.
I agree with you on that one. You could tell Brian had to make that opportunity, had to take that shot there. And when you're facing a guy like Tyson Meyer, it's tough. It's tough when you face a guy like that. And what an outstanding match, and it was a fun one that we wanted to watch, and we are happy to get to watch and bring it to here on the Magnitude Sports Network.
We head to 195. The Lakers bring out Dylan Kabuski, and he is a senior. And for the Yellow Jackets is Gordon Enyart. He is a junior at 4-2. Enyart quick in on the leg. Definitely looks like a size difference here, but Enyart's really driving hard, and I think he does. He gets his takedown. So great job for Gordon, just not even hesitating, coming right out of the gates, going for his takedown. Now here comes the cradle. Here comes the cradle, and I don't know if the size of difference is going to make a difference here, but Dylan Kabuski looks like he is bigger than Gordon, but that doesn't always mean, and Gordon's got one nasty cradle, so let's see what happens. But Dylan breaks the hold there, and then Gordon goes into just goes into chain wrestling here and is trying to get some points, but now gives up his leg. Dylan's going to look. Dylan Kabuski comes out, not yet, but looking to come out the back, and he gets his reversal. And here goes Gordon back in looking for his reversal. One thing it's always fun to watch Gordon is, if you can notice at home, seems like he's super flexible. I mean, he never gets too bent out of shape. Well, he does get bent out of shape, but he doesn't get too bent out of shape mentally when he gets into a bad spot. Again, physical wrestling style by Minnewaska. It's whether you're cheering for Minnewaska or the Yellow Jackets, you can certainly appreciate how physical they are, and Yellow Jackets are holding their own. So here comes Gordon, and with 20 seconds remaining, gets the reversal, takes the lead back at 4-2, hoisting up that leg, looking for a tilt, and there's about 10 seconds remaining. And this is Gordon's kind of putting all of his power, but this Dylan Kabuski is one tough, strong young man, and he's not going. But 1 second, and he gets him over. And just when we were going to start to see some back points happen, the clock's not our friend. So I think we're still ahead 2-1 with the clock helping the Yellow Jackets out tonight. But Dylan Kabuski takes down to start the second. He's down also on the score clock, 4-2. So let's see what happens here as we get rolling. It's like Gordon was trying to set up his cradle again, throwing in a little crossface. Kabuski's up on his base, so no chance of stalling or anything like that there, and he tripods. Gordon's trying to drive, kind of cut that elbow and get him back down flat, and he is successful. Minute 30 to go here, so 30 seconds off our clock, and a good strong ride here for Gordon Enyart, and he's not satisfied with the 4-2 score. He's definitely looking for some more points and throwing in that cradle again. And last time, Dylan Kabuski was able to stay off of his back in the cradle by kind of stretching out a little bit, and it looks like he's trying to do the same thing, but this time it's not successful as Gordon pulls him over and trying to hook that top leg, does so. Head looks like it might be slipping out just a little bit there. Definitely back points here for Enyart. I can't tell, your view is as good as mine, but there's the fall. I was going to say, hard with Gordon being with his back to the mat there. But a big fall for Gordon Enyart, and a nice win that makes the score 39-13, heading into 285. No, 220.
Yeah, 220.
220.
Skipping ahead a little bit there, Lance, but we're getting there.
So for the Lakers, we have Nate Rankin, a junior. Last year, Rankin was 17-7, finished third in the sections. So not a lot of wrestling last year. Maybe injury, maybe worked his way into the lineup, but then pretty successful towards the end when you finish third in any section. Nice work by Nate Rankin. And we have our home debut for Aaron Burr, a senior for the Yellow Jackets. Aaron's been in the wrestling program, and a good spot here to get him on the mat, because you just never know with wrestling where you may need people coming in the later part of the year when injuries or kids get worn down or situations with COVID. You just never know. So a good chance for Aaron Burr to get some mat time here as he wrestles Nate Rankin. We're under a minute to go here at in our wrestling match, and it's 39-13 in favor of Minnewaska. And if you didn't join us for the pregame or you couldn't hear me, Minnewaska has been battle tested. They've already wrestled the number 1, 2, and 3 team in Class A, and they're the number 4 team. And they beat Pequot Lakes Pine River Bacchus 31-30, who is also in Section 8AA and ranked 8th right now in the state. And they beat Waseca, who's rated 6 in AAA. So they've also wrestled a couple matches against teams that are in the lean and mean. So they have not backed away from opponents this year. And you can see that's kind of their confidence level as they come to the mat.
Oh, I've definitely been impressed with this team. They're so outstanding, the strength that they have, and you can tell they're ready for anyone and everyone that they face, and they're just well prepared. It looked like, they seemed like they had Perham pretty well scouted as they got ready for tonight's match.
Well, one of the things that I'm looking at, Jason, is we haven't seen the 285-pounder, Jacob Swalla, obviously rated 2 in the state, and was in the state tournament last year and was probably close to placing when you look at the different, at however you want to look at it. You have him at the end. You've got a stopper. At 182, you've got a 2-time state champ. So even though there's some distance in between those guys, it's like having 12 points at the end of most matches.
I was just going to lead in right. I was going to say, you're kind of going into the duel thinking you're up 12-0 with 2 matches in the book as you get ready to start the thing out.
And it allows you to be flexible as a coaching staff, knowing you have those guys at the end, I would imagine, to make a few maybe riskier moves that if they weren't at the end, they wouldn't be able to make. So a minute 25 left on the clock here, and Burr took I believe Rankin took the down position, and still trying to work his way out. Burr's in a deep waist ride here, and it's locked up at 0-0. But just as I say that, Rankin's backing into him, and Burr's got to find out when he wants to bail, and he should bail soon. And no back points there as we're going, but there they are. And it's kind of that feel of when do I get out of this position, because it's not a good one. And Burr is showing brute strength here, but then Rankin pulls him right back over the top. So, man, the action for going kind of about a minute and a half with their 2.5 minutes with nothing, all of a sudden we got it back and forth, and Burr is pretty tight to the mat, and there's the pin. So, good match. Burr probably not quite as seasoned as Rankin is right now, and those parts showed, but it's good to get Burr that match. Rankin now drives the score to 45-13, heading into the 285. So this is Jacob Swalla, number 2 in the state of Minnesota. Again, if you missed the pregame or whatever we talked about, he was their section champ. He lost 3-1 in overtime to the state runner-up in the first round of the state tournament last year. So 1-1 went into overtime, and he was that close to probably a podium type situation. And for the Yellow Jackets, we have a junior, Reese Wilprick. Reese is 1-1 on the season, so again, a good spot for him to gauge where he's at. I would say that Reese has a little bit of the size advantage in this one, so maybe he can use that to his favor, and maybe it balances out a little of that skill set that Swalla has.
Yeah, Swallow's a guy that we've been talking about a lot. Kind of excited to see what he brings here for this Minnewaska area team. When you have a 45-13 lead, now it's just mano a mano.
Yep, that is for sure. And now you don't have to worry about it. You can just go, like you said, go out and throw what you want to throw. And we're tied 0-0 with 55 seconds remaining. And it always seems like these are kind of the way the 285 start. And then, there's a low shot by Swalla. So something you don't normally see out of a 285 in the 285-pound match. I always remember, I think that separated Jesse Hine from a lot of area wrestlers, was his ability to get down low and get that freight train double. So, and there's Swalla again doing kind of that same thing. Gets in on a single and, showing some strength there, Jason.
Definitely, Swalla's impressive. And like we've said it all night long, we've been impressed with this Minnewaska area squad, and I'm really looking forward to seeing their match next against Brainerd as well.
Exactly. And so Swalla with 12 seconds left. Reese is really trying to get that 1 point. It's 2-0. Here goes Reese, and he does a great job bellying out. But here he goes over to his back, and we're going to get some points, but I think he only gave up 2. So if he would have went to that initial and rolled the initial one, and he kind of battled that, it would have definitely been a 3-point near fall. But in this case, it's a 2. It's 4-0. And Reese defers, and Swalla takes top. So let's see what happens here. I would guess he's going to try to chop and drive and break Reese down to his base. Then there he goes. So I'm feeling a little bit better with my guesses tonight, Jason, than I have in the past. So hopefully that continues for you listeners at home. It makes it a little more fun when I seem like I know what I'm talking about.
Well, we've had some nights where we were 1 for 5, maybe 1 for 10. But tonight, I think you're spot on tonight.
I think it's kind of like that mat experience we were talking for kids. The more we're on the air, the better we're getting at this. Who would have thought? Oh, boy, here we go. Good job by Reese just bellying out. So where we said in that last match that Aaron Burr kind of had to know that tipping point of, hey, I should get out of this situation, Reese just showed that. But Swalla is just constantly on the move. He is. It's fun to watch him, and it's fun to watch, even though the score is only 4-0. He's constantly working stuff. So he gets into this power half, and as we get to the power half, we have a blood timeout. So blood timeout probably saves Reese Wilprick from going over to his back, and I just have that kind of feeling that Swalla says, you know what, I'll try her again.
Well, I was just saying that, and I was looking at the bench from Minnewaska area just as they sense it. It's like they've been here before. They've seen this before, and they just were like, all right, we got it. And then they saw the whistle for the blood time. You could just see a couple heads tilt back like, oh, here, And Swalla's like, okay, I'm just going to walk around and get ready to try to do it again. And Reese saved a little bit there, but, hopefully he's going to be okay and able to come back out here and see what he can do. And this is going to be a good challenge for him against a strong wrestler like Swalla.
Exactly. It's a good gauge to know where you're at. The match isn't on the line, so to speak, tonight. So go out and give it, try something new, and see where you're at. So, again, the chop and drive happens here for Jacob Swalla, and he's trying to get into that power half situation. And Reese is fighting it pretty well and actually breaks the grip. So, but one thing, when you do break that grip, you end up down with your head on the mat. So Swalla's definitely into this power half series, but not able to get Reese over. He's kind of switching up what he's doing. 25 seconds remain, and he says, you know what, I know what I do best, and maybe was just kind of baiting Reese into making a move, and he went right back to that power half, and there's the fall. So really impressive strength by Jacob Swalla. It ends up leaving the score as 51-13, and didn't seem like it was 51-13. There was a lot of great matches in there, Jason, and I think as we go to break here, we'll probably get a chance for you and I to talk a little bit about what we think, and we'll bring you our post-game thoughts here shortly.
Yeah, we'll take a quick time out. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back with the post-game show here on the Magnitude Sports Network.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rusted, Chief Lending Officer with United Community Bank. I'm just excited we've been partnering with businesses for over 100 years. Come and see why so many of your friends and neighbors have put their trust in United Community Bank. Stop in and see us in Perham, Frazee, and Dent, or you can visit us online at ucbankmn.com. We're excited for you to be part of our community, United Community Bank.
United Community Bank.
Well, welcome back here for the post-match report of the Magnitude Sports Network. Nice victory tonight. Minnewaska area, the Lakers pick up a 51-13 victory over the Perham Yellow Jackets, and wow, just an impressive squad are those Lakers.
I was really wondering what they would come out with, Jason. I had done the research. I'd looked at their records, looked at who they had wrestled, and you kind of wonder, is it going to live up on paper to what we were going to see? And I think they might even be better, Jason.
Well, I was just going to say it exceeded my expectations. We had heard going in that this Minnewaska squad was going to be very good and they were going to be a tough match. And boy, did they really live up to the billing. And what an outstanding victory it was for them. Minnewaska area just continuing to roll, and they're hoping to make it 2 for tonight here at the Hive when they get ready to take on Brainerd in just a few minutes.
Yeah, and they got to come through pretty fired up, thinking, we traveled to the Yellow Jackets' home turf and a pretty convincing victory, even though, like I said, it didn't seem like the separation was that far because a lot of the matches were really, really good matches. You can go either direction. Chandler Mickelson starting out at 106 with that close victory over Nick Ankeny, and I think those two could wrestle each other 10 times and it probably would go 5-5. So, and that's kind of the way the night went a little bit, except for maybe the heavy hitters for both teams did what they were supposed to do.
Exactly, and we talked a lot about Tyson Meyer and Jacob Swalla at the end, and they delivered. Jack Fudge, had an exciting match. May not have ended the final few seconds that he had hoped, but he had a strong match for Perham to pick up the victory. But overall, Minnewaska area, their depth, their experience, and their strength was something else, was impressive.
And I think back to matches like Jacob McCleary being on the mat, was up 9-2, gets into a scramble situation, ends up on his back. Not that that's going to change the outcome, but sometimes it's those things that happen that you just can't explain that fire up one team and kind of deflate the other one a little bit. So nothing but hats off to the Minnewaska area Lakers. I am certainly not disappointed. I get to watch them again here as we start our next stream here shortly, and they pushed their record to 9-3, and definitely looking to go 10-3 before they board the bus back to Minnewaska area.
And they get ready to face Brainerd, who comes in at 11-3, so that should be a fun one. We're going to wrap things up and get things set up for the next one, so make sure to search again, as we'll have a new stream for Brainerd and Minnewaska area coming up here in just a little bit here on the Magnitude Sports Network.
The proceeding has been a presentation of the Magnitude Sports Media Network. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to order a DVD copy of this broadcast, simply visit msportsnet.com/DVD.